I recently moved into what I thought would be my dream neighborhood. It's a quiet, picturesque community with neatly trimmed lawns and friendly neighbors. Just the kind of place where you imagine everyone knows each other by name and waves as they pass by. I was looking forward to settling in and forming those good neighbor relationships you always hear about. For the most part, things have been great. The neighbors have been welcoming, and we've had some nice chats while I've been out mowing the lawn or taking out the trash. However, there's been one ongoing problem that's put a serious damper on this otherwise perfect situation. My next-door neighbor Mabel has a large, overly energetic Great Dane. The dog is young and full of energy, which wouldn't be an issue if Mabel were able to keep up with him. But Mabel is elderly, and it's pretty clear she doesn't have the ability to properly exercise or control the dog. She just kind of lets him run wild through the neighborhood. The real issue is that this Great Dane has decided my back patio is his personal bathroom. Every day without fail, I walk out to find a fresh, steaming pile of dog crap right on the concrete slab. And these aren't small messes. Great Danes are massive dogs, and what they leave behind is, well, let's just say it's the size of my head. Not to mention the smell, it's enough to knock you off your feet. I have to clean it up daily, and it's gotten to the point where I dread stepping out the back door. At first I tried to handle it the neighborly way. I went over to Mabel's and brought it up, trying to keep things light. I politely asked if she could make sure her dog stayed in her yard because I was having to clean up after him. To my surprise, she swore up and down that it wasn't her dog doing the damage. She even pointed the finger at another neighbor, the Johnsons, who also have a large dog. Mabel was adamant it was their dog, not hers, that was using my patio as a bathroom. I wasn't convinced, but I figured I couldn't just accuse her without proof. So I decided to put up a camera in my backyard. Sure enough, after a couple of days, I had photographic evidence. It was her Great Dane, unmistakably leaving enormous piles on my patio. Armed with proof, I went back to Mabel, hoping this would resolve things. I showed her the footage, thinking she'd apologize and make an effort to keep her dog in check. Nope, she barely seemed to care. She muttered something about how dogs are gonna do what they do, and brushed me off. After that, not only did the dog continue crapping on my patio, but it seemed like it got worse. The messes became more frequent, and I had no idea what she was feeding that dog, but the smell was getting unbearable. I'm not one to make a fuss, but I couldn't take it anymore. I tried to handle things directly with Mabel, but nothing changed. So reluctantly, I reported her to the HOA. As you can imagine, the HOA didn't take kindly to the situation. Mabel was fined, and I thought that would finally put an end to the problem. But instead of resolving things, it seems to have made me the bad guy in the neighborhood. Word got out, and now my neighbors are giving me the cold shoulder. The friendly waves and smiles I used to get when I first moved in have turned into awkward glances and averted eyes. People are treating me like I'm the one who did something wrong, and I'm starting to wonder if I made a mistake by getting the HOA involved. All I wanted was to stop cleaning up after a dog that isn't mine. Am I asking for too much? Update: after things escalated with the HOA and the cold shoulder from the neighbors started getting worse, I figured I needed to try another approach. I still wanted to get along with everyone, and it didn't sit well with me that Mabel might be struggling with her dog because she couldn't physically handle him, so I offered to help walk the dog. I figured if the dog was getting regular exercise, maybe he wouldn't need to roam and leave his presence on my patio anymore. I started walking Mabel's Great Dane in the mornings before work and again in the evenings. At first, it seemed like it was helping. The dog seemed calmer, and I thought maybe this was going to be the solution that kept everyone happy. Mabel was grateful, and she even mentioned how much the dog seemed to enjoy the walks. But unfortunately, while the walks helped a bit, they didn't fully solve the problem. Despite the exercise, the dog still found his way to my patio during the day when I wasn't around to supervise. I would come home from work to find the same giant piles waiting for me, and the frustration started to creep back in. I'd cleaned up so many messes by now that I was considering just covering the patio with tarps permanently. The thing is, I've come to understand that Mabel simply can't control her dog, and that's a problem that's bigger than just me. I know she means well, and I don't want to make her life harder than it already is. But at the same time, I feel like I shouldn't have to live like this, walking someone else's dog and still cleaning up after it. So here I am, still wondering, am I the asshole for reporting Mabel and trying to protect my property, even if it's led to tension with my other neighbors? I've tried everything I can think of, but I still feel like I'm the one being punished for wanting some basic respect for my space. Should I have just let it go, or was I right to stand my ground, even if it meant rocking the boat a little?